Hi, thanks for joining us for our scripture and scrapping for the month of September. We're not going to be able to do this in person, but I thought we could at least have a video and maybe be able to do it separately and share them in October. This is our verse this week. You are the salt of the earth. Salt is good, but if the salt becomes unsalty, with what will you make it salty again? Have salt in yourselves and be at peace with one another. Matthew 5:13a and Mark 9:50. And I turn this around. I think I can turn the video around after I finish, so I'm not going to try and do everything upside down. But if it is, then I will deal with that. But we're going to do a layout that I saw an idea on Cricut to make like an open area with doors leading out to the ocean. And I'm blessed to be in Florida to be close to the ocean this week. So I've got 2 base sheets. I'm doing it like the picture it was at sunset, so it had an orange sky. So that's going to be my base sheet, but I'm going to start with the sand and the ocean because that's the hardest part. So I've cut a 7 by 12 piece of the sand. I'm using white because we're in Florida and it has white sand, and a 7 by 12 sheet of blue for both sides. You can do this as a 1-page or a 2-page. I'm doing it as 2, and I want to have the white and the blue kind of continue across. So I've drawn a mark at the 3-inch line right here on this side, and then the 3-inch line on the other side so I can match it up. And I'm going to start at the corner, and I'm going to tear towards myself, because when you tear a paper, if you tear towards yourself, you get that nice white edge. And I want this to be our shoreline. And so that's kind of there. And that's going to lay across this sand here. And I may ink this a little bit, probably not on thing, but just to give it a little bit more definition, get some white. And I'm going to start at the 3 here and tear that all the way down to the other corner. Now, if you wanted to just do straight across, you would not have to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and tape those down. And then I'm going to add some more layers. Just to give a little bit more depth. So that's kind of the ocean edge there. And part of this will be covered up by the frame, but I'm going to put this together first. I want also some lines of blue, to make it, or other blue. I think just stay in the same blue family. But I'm just going to tear some more strips. I'm tearing it to get some white along the edge. And I'm going to add that in here. And it is going to come up above the edge of the water. I will trim that off after I finish. That's why I'm not taping the sand down yet. This is 2-sided paper, so you could put a different color in here, but I think I want to keep it all one color. Get a little bit more white in there. And then I'll do the same to the other side. Probably get another sheet over here. Get that white edge. And you can do this with designer paper as well. It has a white interior if you'd like that. Use that. So I'm going to add that kind of across here. And I may have to add just a little on top because you can see it doesn't quite go up there. I think I may just move it up. I can figure it out. I think it'll be just fine. And then if I have a little bit more, I can make another row here. We're gonna have just a solid amount there, so just a small bit. I think this is probably the trickiest part, is just the tearing and the adding. If you don't want to do tearing, you could use like a decorative trimmer and do the waves, either the tight waves or the very gradual waves. So I'm going to add one more like that. And I'm just going to stick these down so that we have, I'm not sure if I like that too much. I think I'll just go with one across. And that way, I stuck that one, that's good. I'm going to keep these together just to kind of line them up. And I do have my cutting mats out ready to do some measuring and make sure I'm on track. I think that's pretty close. This, like I said, the edges will be covered by the frame of the door or the window. So I'm just going to trim off this excess right here with my scissors. You could also use your personal trimmer. All right, now I'm going to stick down the sand. And if you were only doing one page, you would do something like this. But you want to have a nice flat horizon. Looks like these papers are a little bit different size, but that's okay because, like I said, we will be covering that up. So I'm going to get it even at the center because we will not have a frame in the center. I have Clara helping me man the cameras, so she is standing by in case I need help, and I appreciate it. Often I'm doing this at the middle of the night, and it's not always pretty. Okay, so we've got our ocean. The next thing we had in there, let me get rid of some of this water, since we don't need that anymore, is your sun. So they had a sun, and as it was a sunset, they put it below the horizon here. And so I'm going to go ahead and tape that down. I'm using repositionable tape just in case I need to change something or change my mind. I also have some clouds, and I'm going to show you a variety here. I used this template, the sailboat template, and it has some clouds that you can trace. They're very structured, and so I did a couple, but most of them I tore. You know, lots of tearing here. Or I used the word bubble punch, and I used a emery board to kind of rough these up. But I'm going to kind of just lay some of these clouds out in this orange sky. Give us our sunset. And I'll stick a little bit underneath the sun and then kind of around the sun. And I also did a few of the white with, from just white cardstock, and inked the edges of those. So this is just free form. Do whatever looks good to you. I was kind of following the picture, but also doing just whatever seemed to be a good idea. And you can use dimensionals. I think I put dimensionals on one, but most of them I did not have that set up. Clara's given me the option, but I'm gonna refuse right now just to get this on the paper. Get some things on here. And I'm glad I'm using repositional. I put it on the wrong side, so you can see the inking. So this is just a rough idea. Your clouds can go wherever you want them to. But the next thing we're going to add is some palm leaves in the corners here. I have access to a die cut machine, so I have had a friend punch some beautiful things here. And these would be lovely, but I'm going to show you, in case you don't have that, what I did. I took, with the sun, I used the middle-sized circle with the blue blade outside for the big sun. And then for the ring, to kind of make it show up better, I used a green blade first, and then the red blade first, all on the outside. For the palm leaves, I use the next to the largest oval. And I used the red blade on the outside to cut ovals. Then I took the ovals, folded it in half, and then I cut off a little in the middle because I didn't want them to be full ovals. I wanted them to be more flat on the top. And then I took scissors and I put these together, and I'm just going to cut in, and you're going to cut pretty high, close to the edge. I will have palm tree clippings here on the page. And each one's going to be a little different. It's like snowflakes. Your leaves will be a little bit different each time. Just trying to cut kind of triangular fronds. You might have embellishments, or you might have a different punch. We have the little monstera leaf punch, but I wanted to make something pretty big to go with the way that the example looked. And there's definitely no wrong way to do this, and I just tore mine, but I can stick it back together. And I just had them together this way, so it would be, I would be doing two at one time. Can you see what I'm doing there, Clara?
Yes.
Okay, good. Sometimes I don't know if my head is over what I'm doing, and all you see is the top of my head. Okay, so I've got a bunch of little clippings. I will take care of those after, but try to get them out of the way just to, so you can see. And the way the picture did it, and I'm going to just follow it, they did 5 leaves on this side and 3 leaves on this side. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to use one of these ones that is kind of broken first. And I'm just going to kind of stick it up here in this corner, because we're wanting it to more frame the doorway area. And it is going to go over your clouds a little bit, and that's okay. You don't want it to go over your sun. And you notice I put a little title on here. I saw this on a Christian t-shirt that had the verses that we're using. And so I thought that would be a fun one. I'm also going to use a darker green. So I'm kind of mix and matching here. And then back to so these are just kind of on there, and I will also trim those off. And here, I'm also, on the other side, I'll do the others. Kind of the same way.
You have 15 minutes.
I'm at 15 minutes, so I will talk quickly because sometimes they cut me off. Lately, they've been letting me go a little bit longer. So I'm going to just keep going and see what happens. Hopefully, it will all be okay. And like I said, you can use whatever kind of leaf you want to use. I'm just using those. I'm not going to stop to trim it just because the doorway is the window frame or doorway, however you want to do it, isn't the last part. I cut 6 pieces of paper, and these are 3/8 of an inch. Sorry, excuse me, they're not. There are, yeah, they are 3/8 of an inch by 12. And for some reason, this one's not quite tall enough. Again, some of the times the paper's not exactly to size. And I think this orange paper is just a little bit bigger. But I think the frame will be enough to cover that up. So I've got 6 of these that I'm going to add. And then I'll do one of the doors on one side, just in case we do not get all of it done. I'm knocking things off into the floor as we speak. Thankfully, Claire is here to help me keep them on track. But you want to get your sky and your ocean in place first before you put these on. All right. Well, and I knew I was going to run out of adhesive, so I was prepared this time. I always seem to run out of adhesive when I'm doing a demonstration. Thank you. I'll post a picture after we finish here and put the measurements of the different strips and circles in here. All right, so now if you wanted to make a peekaboo pocket, a 6 by 12 peekaboo pocket for your doors, what you would do is you would probably not put your words on right there because that'll cut right about there. But you would put one of these 3/8 by 12-inch strips right here. One and that's at 6. I'm using the mat there. I'm not taping it down because I'm not going to leave it there, but then another at the 3-inch mark. And then you'll use some little 6-inch pieces to go across. You need 5 of those, I think. 1 or 3, sorry. 1, 2, and 3. And then once you finish, you could cut that off and put it in a peekaboo pocket. Lay this part on another sheet of paper if you wanted to do that. I'm going to do it where it looks like it's swinging in, so it's not going to be quite this way. But I wanted to show you if you wanted to do a 6 by 12. That's kind of what it looks like. If you want to make it where it's swinging in, which is what I want to do, I cut a 9-inch strip here, and I made it a little bit thinner. This is, instead of 3/8, this is 1/4. And I'm going to put this at 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Kind of midway between. I've covered up my edges, and I'll probably have to move my words just a little bit. Then I have a 10-inch strip. I think that's it. Nope. Yeah. And it's the same 3/8 inch wide. Now I'm going to put that at 2.5. You can see it's kind of looks like it's moving in this way. And then I'm going to take my 6-inch strips and angle them here. The first one's going to come from the bottom. And kind of catch those bottom, and I'm going to, start at your one that you already have, and then you're going to trim it off at the corner. And then same at the top. I start at the top corner and bring it out to the top edge, and then bring it out to the corner. Okay, and then you have 3 more, and I put them at 3, 6, and 9 on your mat. And that's why it's really nice to have your mat. And you can do it a little bit different or exactly the same, however you want. But you want to try to follow the same kind of slant that you have at the top and the bottom. This is the 9-inch. And then one in the middle, which is your 6-inch, and it's going to go mostly straight across. And that gives you it where it looks like it's swinging in. Then you can add any embellishments you want, as well as your verse. You have plenty of room for photos here and here without covering up a lot of things. You might want to add a turtle. Someone die cut that for me. Or you might want to add additional palm trees in the distance. However you want to do. You can do a whole scene the way you like it. You also could do a sun or moon or something that's up in the sky, and it would be smaller if you didn't want it to be sunsetting. If you were artistic and could do the waves here, I thought about trying that, and I thought I don't think I'm going to do that today. But that's the basic. I will trim it off, get everything else ready, and then post a finished picture with the measurements. But that's kind of the basic techniques. I hope you enjoy it, and I can't wait to see yours. Thank you. Bye-bye.